This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is. All right, you're not going to start talking Titans or anything now. Also, just like our last guest there, Marcel had to try to douse this whole thing after a beautiful performance by Tua and the second half on the team, right?
I was listening, man, and you guys at the last 5 minutes of that interview was almost as entertaining as as the last 2 minutes of the game. It was pretty hilarious. But nah, man,
dude, between this game and Purdue Syracuse yesterday, right? I don't know if you watched it, but Aronde Gadsden's kid had 2 touchdowns in the game winner, and they scored 42 points in the fourth quarter. So to watch what the two in the offense did in the fourth quarter, that was a lot of fun today, man. That was really good. And before I get to Tua and all this and that, it only took game 2, Cam, because everybody talked about, Mike McDaniel, yeah, he's a real jokester. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, wait till the shit hits the fan. Then I want to see how those jokes and everything else works out for him. This, that. Well, game 2, my brother. The first half, the shit hit the fan because that was one of the worst first halves I've ever seen in my life. Josh Boyer was pulling Homer Simpson, disappearing inside the bush. I mean, it was Bat X was not covering, Tua turnovers, this, that. I mean, everything that could, the return, everything that could possibly go wrong. And then they go into the half, and I even tweeted out, I said, we're going to find out about Mike McDaniel here right away. Guess what, dude? Test was passed.
Yeah, I thought it was fun hearing Tyreek describe Mike McDaniel's play calling after their game. Said it was like he was playing Madden with us playmakers. I think that this is a win that they do not win any other year. That Tua is the quarterback here. Not last year, not the year before, and so it's a testament to Tua growing as a quarterback. It's a testament to making a trade for Tyreek Hill, who changes the offense completely. It's a testament to a coach, the coach who on the offensive side of the ball, they could have easily packed it in and, padded their stats and didn't really, but they went for it and they didn't quit. And even the defense, they got dominated. It was ugly in the first half. Second half pretty much shut down the Ravens. And so you can't do that if they don't, turn the tide. So I think this was probably the best win that I've ever seen the Dolphins have in my 4 years covering the team. The best quarterback performance I certainly have seen happen. And it's interesting. I actually saw
Dan Marino, bro.
It's funny. I was going there. I saw Dan Marino in the locker room, and he stopped me, and he said, "Man, that was so exhilarating. It felt like I was out there." And I told him, "It looked like you were out there." So it was pretty fun for everyone. I was standing on this in the tunnel, going out to the field to do my post game interview with like 2 minutes left. So I got to see the whole 2-minute drive in the tunnel from field level, and standing right to my right was Chris Greer and Brandon Shore. And so if you know a little bit about Chris Greer and Brandon Shore, they're very, internal people. They don't show a lot of emotion. I'll tell you what, when they caught that Jalen Waddle touchdown, they turned to each other and gave each other the biggest hand slap that I've seen and a huge smile. I told Chris, I've covered you for 4 years, the most emotion I've ever seen out of you. And so this win, like it's week 2, right? And so I do think that Marcel has some good perspective. It is just week 2. But I think this win means a lot for everyone. It means a lot for Tua, even though he's very humble and saying it means, so we win. It means a lot for Tua. I talked pregame about how this game could help answer that question that everybody asks. Is Tua the franchise quarterback here? Well, if you're basing it off this game, it's a resounding yes, right? Because how many other quarterbacks in the league can go for 467 and 6 touchdowns against the Ravens? I don't care if you're talking about, the Ravens busted the coverage or they have Tyreek or this and that. That's a super quarterback performance. And I think that Tua deserves his flowers for that. Just as much as we would have criticized him if the game would have ended at the halftime and he threw the 2 interceptions and they lost 28-7 and that was the game, we would have roasted him. And that would have been rightfully so because he played poorly in the first half. The Dolphins played poorly. But the second half, that was one of the best halves of quarterback football I've ever seen in person in my life. And so I think that deserves a lot of praise. Now, can they couple it? Can they continue to roll? But I think we learned a lot from this Dolphins team and their potential and what they can be. Because last week they won and it was the defense that won them the game. This week it was Tua and the offense that won it.
Yeah, no, listen, that's what I love about this. And also this if there was any doubts, right, on the team or whatever, this should seal it. But going back to your Chris Greer comment, this is what I believe. I believe Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie never was shying away from this plan of theirs. They have their plan. They're the football people. Okay? I don't believe none of them wanted to bail on Tua. I believe the Watson and Brady stuff all came from the periphery.
Right.
And what is happening now is the justification for this front office finally. Because the problem is you cannot do your job in any workplace if you have people constantly in your way creating problems for you to do your job. And that's the problem that's been going on in this franchise for Tua, whether it's Flores not having the coach that didn't want him from the get-go and was pretty much wanting anybody else, or you're Chris Greer that you're trying to build a team, but then you've got two idiot owners that are going behind the scenes trying to go recruit Brady, and then you've got this pissed off coach that didn't get Jordan Love, so now he wants to go get somebody else. And then it just creates a problem for you. And Chris Greer had to deal with, he signs Eric Flowers and then the coach makes him, get rid of him and take a cap hit, and Kyle Van Noy and all those other things that happen. So for him, this plan is now starting to come together. And as you know, minorities aren't given a lot of second chances. And they got lucky that they were able to overcome the Flores mistake to make this second chance. And now if they go and have success, it is so big for those three guys to move on and have success as a front office. So I think that's what you're seeing, kind of a volcano of things that have built up for Chris Greer. And that's the emotion you probably saw there,
right.
At that moment.
And I think for me personally, I love when teams just go for it. Like they take risks. They don't take the safe way out, right? So like this is a franchise that they haven't made the right decisions always, right? Tua was a risk. Tua coming off an injury, all that he was, drafting him has been a risk. And if you ask most folks, they've said the risk has not paid off so far. That's just the honest truth. Most people would say that, hey, that's been a mistake. You should have taken Justin Herbert. You made a mistake. It's going to cost people their jobs, right? And so far, Justin Herbert has looked like the better quarterback. People might have said that was a risk trading for Tyreek Hill, right? You trade a first and second round pick for a franchise that still hasn't solidified for 100% sure if their quarterback's the right guy. Is that the right move? Some people might say it's not, right? But this win, and I don't want to make it more than what it was. It's a regular season win, but this win sort of validates your risk, saying, hey, this is what we envisioned when we made these two decisions. When we decided to draft Tua, when we decided to trade for Tyreek Hill, when we decided to draft Jalen Waddle at number 6. These are franchise-defining risky moves, and we are seeing the potential of our fruition together. And so to me, that's a dope element. Now, will we see closer to the potential throughout the regular season, or is this the peak? I hope it's not the peak. This was a heck of a peak if it is, but I hope that this is a sign of what's to come. But I do think that there's a lot of people who, whether they admit it or not, are going to spend these next 24 hours feeling really good about themselves, relishing this moment, because it's what they all envisioned when they started to put this thing together.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. And I think when you start to look, how about Josh Boyer, dude? Josh Boyer was being by halftime. People had him fired. Go hire Flo. It's like they were quick to get off the bandwagon, really quick. Hell, Mario Cristobal only took 6 quarters to get booed. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's why when you look at that at this situation, Boyer was another guy that as Shaka Khan used to sing, through the fire. Well, Mike McDaniel, Tua, Josh Boyer, guys that kind of went through the fire today.
Right. Absolutely. I actually talked to Josh Boyer briefly after the game in the locker room, and he kind of gave me the woo look, like, hey, that first half, it was like the look like, hey, that first half, I'm not going to lie to you, but he said that our guys always fight. And he was like, it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be like, the shutdown defensive day we want, but our guys fight. And I learned that about us in a way that maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know before. But I think that, like I said, there's a lot of people who deserve praise in this. First and foremost, Tua. Secondly, Mike McDaniel and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. But there's a lot of unsung heroes here today. You know, Landon Roberts making a stop on 4th down in the first half. Was it the first half or second half? Lamar Jackson is coming down. They
Second
had
half. Yeah.
they had an 11-minute drive. They came through and they got to the 4th and goal or 3rd and goal, and they scored a touchdown, right? In theory. And they reviewed it, and the Landon Roberts stopped them about 3 inches short. And they fumble the next play, and that's the difference between a touchdown and a turnover on downs. That's a play that defines this game. You might not win. You two might not get a chance to come back if it's a 4-touchdown lead instead of a 3-touchdown lead, right? And then you got the Dolphins offensive line. How much have we talked about how bad that offensive line is? They gave up no sacks today. The only sack was a tight end bust where they had Durham Smythe trying to block Justin Houston and missed the block. That's the only sack. It was a bad play. It was a really bad play. But that's the only sack all day. And this is a Dolphins offensive line where you have Teron Armstead with a messed up toe. You know, he's playing hurt. He's not 100%. He left the stadium in a walking boot. That's how badly it's hurt, but he's going to push through it. He's going to continue to fight through it. And then you got Greg Little, who we weren't sure could be the swing tackle. He played a whole game of right tackle. I didn't hear his name called one time. And so that's good. As an offensive lineman, your name's not called. You're not doing anything.
Cam, I was talking about this in pregame. He's got a chance to keep the job. If he goes out and kicks ass for a month,
right?
How do you bench him? How do you bench him?
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is a big month for Greg Little, a bad month for Austin Jackson to get injured right at the beginning of the season where you didn't get a chance to really prove yourself. And if Greg goes out there and makes him feel really good about Tua's blind side, I'm just saying.
Right.
Just saying. And this is a former high pick also in the draft. So it's not like this is a guy that obviously these guys in the front office must have liked Greg Little in the draft also. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah. They trusted him. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I did not see this one with Greg Little. Like in camp, I was like, please sign another offensive tackle. Please. Like, this is not a good idea. And so this kind of shows that sometimes they know more than us, you know? And so not all the time. There are some times that I know more than them, I will say. But this time they were right. And I will say corners too. When Byron Jones was hurt and could not, I'm like, please sign another corner. This is good. And, you know, Cater Kohu, who actually played a lot in the second half with the starters, has shown that maybe they didn't need another corner to hold on and keep things tight, you know, for this team. And so I think we've learned a lot about this group.
Whoa. There we go. He's back. You said, I think we've learned a lot about this group, and continue. Oh. Can't hear you. Can't hear. How about, there we go. Hello? Pizza guy. We will try to get in contact with Cam here. Give us a second. So Austin Jackson then playing Tua threw for 400 plus yards and 6 TDs. Confidence? I think not. There we go. I think he's back now, ready to go.
Yeah.
You said we learned a lot about this team, and then
the thing about this app is when I get calls, I'll lose the audio. But yeah, no, I think we learned a lot about this team and how they fight. I didn't necessarily see they can win this sort of game. Maybe I wasn't a believer, but if you would have told me before the game that the Dolphins are down 21 on the road against the Ravens, I'd be like, okay, we will see them next week in Buffalo. And so they showed us that they can do it, and now the expectations rise. And I thought coming into the season that this is a playoff team. I think this solidifies that this team is one of the best 6 or 7 teams in the AFC, and now it's how far can they rise. And, you know, I am eager to see next week because it'll be a good marching step, but I do think that you relish a moment like this on the road against a very good Ravens team, against a Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, played phenomenal today. Like, he looked like a run me my money type quarterback today, and he just got outplayed by a possessed Tua today. And so that's the story of the day. Lamar played like an MVP, and Tua played better.
So my prediction of going 3-1 in the first 4 games, does it sound crazy now?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I got to run in a second to get ready for my flight. But it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, this is the hardest stretch of the season. You start off with a Patriots team that's not very good, but they also won a day against the Steelers team. And you play the Ravens on the road, a team that you hadn't beat in Baltimore since 1997. and then
losing badly.
Right. Exactly. Against Lamar Jackson and how hot he's been. You got Buffalo next week, and we all know that team is probably the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And then you got Cincinnati on the road on Thursday Night Football. And so that's a heck of a challenge. But like I said, you're going to learn a lot about this team because that's the playoff matches you're going to face. The last three teams, the Ravens, the
I don't worry about the Ravens. Lamar. When push comes to shove, Lamar can't do anything in the playoffs.
Oh, see, I completely
he's not a playoff quarterback. This is a regular season offense. That's all what it is.
So I disagree with the Lamar disrespect. It would have been a different story if Tua didn't have the game he had.
But that's my point. That's what you run into in the playoffs. You run into the elite passers, and he can't match with the elite passers.
Did you watch the first half? Did you watch?
Yeah, and it was, and there were a lot of factors. Think about this. By the time it was 35-21, what was the difference in the game? The long run by Lamar and the special teams touchdown. It's really overall, I get it. They played a terrible first half, but then when they turned it on and it became a playoff game at the end, and the team came back and took the lead, and he had to then answer. That's his problem right there. When the defense takes it up to another level. Look, man, the proof is in the pudding. What does he do in the playoffs? You can brag about everything he does in the regular season. I then go to you, okay, give me playoff success. Right. And he pees in his pants every single time in the playoffs. So until I actually see something, and the Herbert thing, that's the other thing. Herbert is a better talent. He's never been a better quarterback than Tua. He was never a better quarterback than Tua in college. And we'll see now in the NFL, but he already beat him once. There's a difference between physical talent and being a quarterback. And I think that's what a lot of people are learning with Tua, just like Montana, just like Drew Brees, just like Bob Greasy, just like Fran Tarkenton. These guys aren't built like those other guys. They win differently, but that doesn't mean they can't win. And that's what I think people are learning. You got to stop with this freakish stuff. Not everybody's built like Josh Allen. There are quarterbacks that are built half their size and they can kick ass. And that's these guys. That's just me. Right. That's the way I look at it. All right. Get on the plane, safe travels. And if you didn't bring us a crab cake, you suck. We'll catch up with you later on in the week.
I gotta get one for me right before I get on this flight. So we're gonna try
to see if I can get one. You didn't get one?
Oh, they didn't have one in the press box. Like I had a different dinner last night, so I'm gonna make sure to get one before I get back on the flight for sure.
Crab cakes.
Even if it's at the airport. Yep.
All right. You be good. Thank you. That is Cam Wolfe. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed. This
is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.